Yeah.
So here's what we're gonna do. So we did our kind of our business class that kind of grazed over a lot of different things that we should be doing on a daily basis. And what I want to do over the next few weeks is kind of dive a little bit deeper into each one of those. Everybody is currently doing open houses, and I think has a pretty good grasp of that. So I don't think we need to go too in depth with that. And if you do have questions, there are a number of agents here that do them regularly, so you can certainly ask and get intel from that. But what I want to talk about today is what I talked about before in daily calls and making calls to your sphere and things like that. So when we talk about calls, it's always kind of a angst point because people hate doing it. But this should hopefully kind of help you with making it a little bit easier. And to kind of preface this, what we talked about in that other class was that when you're doing daily calls, it's not necessarily cold calling or calling people you don't know. It's calling your sphere. It's people that you do know, trying to stay in touch with them and stay top of mind with them. It's also calling to follow up on open houses or any potential client that you have met that you want to follow up with. And Bold Trail does a really good job of setting reminders, showing us how to do this. And so what I want to do is go through this daily call and task management type thing and show you how that works in that. So what's funny though is it's just me, it's not showing the thing. So which is fine. But
do we need to get to that screen that you're on? Do we need to be on that screen?
if you want to follow along with it, or you can just watch on the TV, because I'm just going to play the videos here. So
Okay.
I mean, you can just watch on here.
Okay.
But anyways, so that makes it kind of pointless to be live on there with only that. But okay, so here's where we're at. So we're going to start now. This just says this is just an overview of it. Daily calls. They're scheduled reminders that help you stay in contact with your people in your CRM. Some of them can be auto-generated, and some of them can be manual, and you can just put in what you've done. Yeah. So it's just showing me though, which is whatever. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's not whatever. Okay,
It's
so
actually got you frozen in a very odd position.
awesome.
Yeah.
So okay, so that's what this is kind of just saying is basically speaking. There's a lot of different ways to do this, but what we want to do is go through and see what are obviously task reminders in there are kind of your to-do list. So if you say and you put in there you're having a moment of inspiration on a Monday morning, right? And you're like, this week I'm going to spend 3 to 4 days, 30 minutes a day, and I'm going to call 3 or 4 people. You can set them up in advance, and then what it's going to do is every day it's going to say, hey, you got to call this person, and this person. And a lot of times with being real estate agents and the kind of, let's call it, lack of straight on accountability, this is something to help you keep yourself accountable, right? And say, okay, this is what I said I'm going to do. I'm going to do it. And so you can set these things up, these reminders, so that you can do that. So let's go into that and say, how are these auto ones generated? Okay.
Daily calls can be created automatically from triggered events set in Smart Campaigns, or when a contact triggers behavioral automation.
Is there supposed to be set?
They can also be manually assigned and scheduled by you or your admin. For now, we'll discuss the different events that could automatically generate a daily call task for you.
It's all the way up though.
Remember throughout this course that the system will never make the call for you. These call task reminders are designed to be managed by you, the agent. There are 6 events that could automatically generate a daily call task.
Where's the TV remote?
1. The contact has triggered a hot behavior.
Is it on here that I
Nah, the remote's right here.
Oh, okay.
Let's just see if it's all the way down or something.
No,
No. Okay, maybe there's just no sound on it.
that's not a very
It's
good
just
video.
it's
That's
just
a-
words.
Daily calls can be created automatically from triggered events set in Smart Campaigns, or when a contact triggers behavioral automation. They can also be manually assigned and scheduled by you or your admin. For now, we'll discuss the different events that could automatically generate a daily call task for you. Remember throughout this course that the system will never make the call for you. These call task reminders are designed to be managed by you, the agent. There are 6
Somebody's
events
definitely
that
paying
could
attention.
automatically generate a daily call task.
I am trying.
1. The contact has triggered a hot behavior in the last 24 hours, and they've not been called in the past week.
So
2.
I'm
A
curious.
contact has viewed a property in the last 6 months, but has yet to be called in.
Okay, hold on. That's not working. Let me, just out of curiosity, let's see if we can find something to see if the sound is actually working, because it would be better with sound. We'll do a HexCloud review.
On the screen before it was a volume thing. On the screen that you were on before that, it said crossed out the volume when you were over the top of it. Yeah, right there. See the top right?
Options out on the market. Price point is
That's just
important.
for the mini
Durability.
box.
Oh.
Like you go here and you're playing the video, it should
It's not
play.
coming on.
Well, this is just actually going to HexCloud website.
Welcome to week 11 of the official Arkham Menards iRacing series, and this week you'll be racing at the Bristol Motor Speedway for 70 laps. You won't have much time to warm your tires up in qualifying this week, so you'll want to get up to speed and heat them up through your first lap. Roll around the outside and avoid scrubbing your tires as you make your way around the track to take the white flag. As you hit the start-finish line to take your final lap, lift and drag the brakes to get the nose pointed. Turn 1. Give the car half a
There we
second
go.
to settle against the inside and get back on the throttle.
I just changed the thing. Alright. Where are we at? Let's go back. Okay, let's try this again.
Be created automatically from triggered events set in smart campaigns, or when a contact triggers behavioral automation. They can also be manually assigned and scheduled by you or your admin. For now, we'll discuss the different events that could automatically generate a daily call task for you. Remember throughout this course that the system will never make the call for you. These call task reminders are designed to be managed by you, the agent. There are 6 events that could automatically generate a daily call task. 1. The contact has triggered a hot behavior in the last 24 hours, and they've not been called in the past week. 2. A contact has viewed a property in the last 6 months, but has yet to be called in the past 30 days. 3. A contact was created in the last 90 days and has yet to be called in the past 30 days. 4. The contacts, beginning with the oldest, have never been called and have not been called in the past 30 days. 5. The contact has a rating of 3 stars or more and has yet to be called in the past 30 days. And 6. The contact has responded to a text and has not been called in the past 30 days. The platform will go through the list to find contacts that match one of those event triggers and then add them to your call list for that day. Please note that the contact
thing is
must
I don't
match
ever hit
one of
call
these triggers
through
to
the
generate a
Voltro.
daily call task
I'll call
automatically,
from my
and
phone,
one
so
will
then
only
it...
be generated if all the
You don't
conditions
have
are
to do
met.
it. You can tell it that it's complete.
Oh, okay.
To set up or adjust your daily call parameters, navigate to
Here
your
you go.
agent profile settings and select Settings from the menu to the right. Within the daily call creation section, change the contact statuses to include your task list, toggle to create calls each day automatically, and for creating calls on the weekend, the option to update the number of calls generated per day and the time of day you'd like to receive the email with your call list. The amount of calls to create is set to 10 by default. This means that you will receive a daily email with 1 to 10 calls on your list to make. Feel free to adjust the number, but keep in mind that the more calls that you can handle, the better your conversion rate from leads to clients will be. If you're a newer agent to our platform, we recommend using the default settings shown here until you're more comfortable. Your contacts will also need to meet one of 2 additional conditions. 1, the contact must have auto dial to yes within their contact record under the Profile Details tab. Or 2, the contact has not previously missed a call from the agent when the auto call was generated. Another setting that you may want to adjust is vacation mode within your profile settings. This prevents new leads from being assigned to you that you would be expected to work on or reply to. Just keep in mind that leads coming through your agent website or your advertising will still be sent to you. Setting your profile on vacation mode only applies to leads assigned to you via your team, office, or company. This setting is generally set when you need to pause your calls during a specific period. Setting a start and end date for pausing automatic calls will prevent you from accidentally leaving it off for entirely
You
too
just
long
need to get
and then
their
missing out
phone
on
number
deals
off the
even when you're back to work.
contacts and then put it into your.
Please note that if
then
you
can.
don't set an end date, vacation mode will stay on until you manually toggle it off. If no start date is selected, vacation mode will start when you save your changes at the bottom. Smart Campaigns can also automatically schedule calls for you. Most of our default campaigns include call to actions, which appear in your call list on your dashboard, but will not appear in the email you receive from us daily. Because these calls are created from a Smart Campaign, the contact may not fall into one of the 6 triggers mentioned at the beginning of this lesson. Don't forget to check out our additional resources and articles at help.insiderealestate.com. You can also access our knowledge base and support by selecting the chat icon at the bottom right of any page of your account.
Okay, so what we can see from that is that if you go into your profile, you can set it to alert you when people have not been contacted in a while, which is a good thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you know, like, okay, I'm falling off with this person or that person, okay? Also, the campaigns will have those automatically if you set up a new client. Like Chris, you have the one client, you put them in your CRM and you put them as a buyer. Now it's going to send them automated emails. It's going to prompt you to follow up with them. It's going to help you stay on top of all of that, okay? Now, Stacy, your question was like, okay, well, I got to go to Bold Trail to do this person because they're not in your phone personally. You could put them in your phone personally and text them that way.
Yeah.
But this system is going to work better if you do it through Bold Trail because it's going to log, okay, you talked to this person, and it's not going to trigger you to call them because they haven't been called in 30 days because you've been texting with them. You know what I mean? So if you keep it in the system, it's going to be a better
So
follow-up program.
When you get this lead like this, and can you push call from here where it says call and it'll call them? Like from here, it'll.
It should,
it'll
yes.
call
I
them
don't.
from
Are you
like-
sure it doesn't hook up to your phone and call?
I believe so, yes. But I don't.
I think it hooks to your phone and calls.
Yeah, it'll call them from your
Yeah,
phone.
if you
You'll
do-
pick
yeah.
up the phone, and then it'll start dialing that person.
How does it know to connect to my phone?
If you do it from Bold Trail, it calls your phone will start ringing. You'll answer it and it'll say, "This is Bold Trail. Hang on while we get your client on the phone." And then it connects.
So
And then it
they
logs the
already
call.
know that my phone number's connected to this account.
It's gonna call them from
Yeah.
your Bold Trail phone number.
Because that's what's in your profile.
Yeah.
So, and the other thing is now I don't do it that way just because it's weird to me.
Is that
I'll
a live
just-
person that does that? That says hold on.
I think it's automated.
It's automated.
It's automated. But what you can do, especially if it's on a campaign, is you can say, okay, I have this task today, right? You can go ahead and call that person, do the task, and then you can mark it complete. You know what I mean? So you don't have to do it that way to get it off of your screen.
Yeah.
You can just tell it, okay, I've done this.
Okay, so like on here, how would I do that? It says, here's all my leads.
Yeah.
So this is the last one, and I tried to send them a message from my phone this weekend, and it wouldn't let me do it. Because it says it was coming from my personal phone number, it wouldn't let me do it. So how do I put on here, or how do I, if I push...
So you click the call button. I think that's why they want you to do it that way, because you have
or I
a
can text
phone
them from
number,
right here.
or you could text them there. You have a phone number that is not your phone number that is assigned by Bold Trail.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so like when it does auto call or auto voicemail drop or whatever, it's coming from a number that's not your personal number, so that your communication with these people is not personal. So that if something weird happens and you need to cut them off, you can do so, right?
Okay.
So anything you can keep integrated into Bold Trail is going to make it more intuitive and work better. So
Okay.
there's that. Now, once you get to a certain place with a customer, your client, you usually are going to be on your personal phone number. You know what I mean? But
How do I guess I can send them, this is their email. Okay, there's their phone number. Never mind, answer my question.
cool.
And like that phone number that it has, you can get off here. If you wanted to always use that phone number, you could put that phone number on your signs or whatever and not your regular.
You could, yeah.
And then
Yeah.
when people call, it always goes through. It always
It's just
logs
gonna
into
channel
Boat
through.
Trail.
Mm-hmm. It'll just channel through
Will
everything.
that automatically, will Bold Trail capture that lead and put it in my CRM when they call?
They should,
Mm-hmm.
yes.
Like I had someone call this weekend about that property because they called off the sign. Would
Mm-hmm.
if I had that phone number on there instead of mine, would it have captured them as a
Yes.
Yes, it should have, yes.
okay? All right, but I didn't
Now,
get-
I mean, the reason I keep saying it should have or it should is because we're all using this for the first time for those kind of things. So I don't want to sit here and say, yes, absolutely, then you have a problem, but that's the way it's supposed to work.
Okay.
So I would say try it. And if it works, cool, then you can report that back to everybody else. And if it doesn't, then we got to figure out why.
When we were with EXP, we had KV Core, which was the same thing, and it worked like that.
I just didn't
Yeah.
use it because I didn't know that I'd always have KV Core or whatever. But I mean, if you're gonna,
Cause I'm thinking you can make a QR code that took them to your Bold Trail phone number or whatever.
Or just your website
Yeah.
or all your contact info. I mean, all your contact info is on your website.
Yeah.
So you can make it go to your website and your contact me page, and then they can be like, oh, this is a full website and see everything.
So
But
can you integrate your website with Bold Trail or have it connected?
it already is. You have a website from
Yeah, but I
Bold
have
Trail.
my own website that I've made
That's going to be
separately
tough to do to integrate it.
It
I
won't
don't know you're
integrate.
going to be able to do that. No,
Okay.
you're only going to be able to use the one that they've
Because
got.
all
on there.
my signs and everything have a QR code that takes them to my website.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's hard for me to go back and undo all of that because it's already on a sign on
Yeah.
everything.
Okay, so let's talk about this. This next thing here is just a PDF that has the different things that could prompt them to be on that daily call task list. So this is assuming, of course, you've already put them into your CRM. You maybe have them on some sort of drip campaign, like for buyer or seller, and these are things that they could do within this system that would trigger them to hey, you need to call them, right? So first one is hot behavior. In the last 24 hours, it has not been called in the last week. So if they're doing things that are hey, they're online looking at stuff, right? Which is the second one is kind of playing right into that. So they viewed properties in the last 6 months, but has not been called in the last 30 days. So if they've been in your system and they're on your website, they're looking at properties, and you haven't called them, but they've been looking, then this is going to prompt you to follow up with them. Okay. Situation, they were added to the CRM in the last 90 days, but you've never followed up with them. Has never been called in Bold Trail, never logged, beginning with the oldest, right? So this is somebody that you put in but never did anything. So this one right here I view as if they've been in your thing, you never had a call logged, you've never done anything with them. And this I think 5 would be the same way, and 6. They haven't responded to a text message in 30 days. They have a start rating of 3 or more and has not been called. They have never been contacted, never done anything, right? Those people, when you get one of those, it's okay, I'm going to reach out to them, follow up. But after that, this person has fallen off, right? If they go onto your website, they sign up, they view a bunch of properties, and then go dark for 30 days, and you don't talk to them, and you follow up with them, and they're not doing anything, you could probably stop wasting your time with them. You never met them. They're not doing anything anymore. They're not responding to your call or text. I think it's a good process of elimination for people as well.
yeah, because I have a lot of those.
Yeah, well, it does happen, right?
And
People
they
just kinda
don't,
fall
but they
off.
don't
Once you familiarize yourself-
unsubscribe from all the emails they get either.
No, that's true. And I'm not saying you don't want to keep them on a drip campaign just in case, right?
Yeah.
But that's not somebody you need to dedicate a whole bunch of time to calling regularly and figuring out it's the first 3 are the ones you want to keep on, is the ones that are active, the ones that are doing things. Those are the ones you really want to hone in on.
Yeah.
Because they're active somewhere.
And if it switches it to prospect, it's because they keep looking, right?
No, it's
Yes.
Because I have several that say prospect.
something more. It's tight.
Yeah, that probably means that they're still doing. And sometimes Bold Trail will say hot lead because they looked at a bunch of them and they liked 1 or 2 or saved something. You know what I mean? So,
Directly from the website. It says it was
so that's always an option. So the next video is how to like manually do it. If you want to go in and say, who am I going to be calling?
They were looking for a house, and then I asked them what the criteria was that they were looking for, and I never heard anything back. But like,
Once
So,
you
like,
familiarize
all
yourself
these-
with how daily calls
All
and
of
tasks
these
are
that have
automatically
say like
scheduled
Sphere,
for you,
that's from when Tammy
now
put
you
in
can take
my
a look at how to schedule
my
future
all
calls
of
for
my
yourself
contacts from my cell
manually.
phone. So it's not
Scheduled
sending
calls
them
can be
anything,
set to
right?
remind yourself to call a
So should I
contact,
just go
making
in
it
and
easier
make
to
them
keep
all-
organized and
Put
on
them on
track with numerous daily to-do lists you may refer to each day by setting and completing them.
Okay.
To start scheduling your calls,
Okay.
open a contact record from the dashboard by searching for the lead using the universal search bar, or navigate to the Contacts tab in the left navigation. Once a record is open, click New Call in the Actions at the top right. From the pop-up window, click the Schedule Call button. Next, fill out the following options if desired. The notes will appear on the contact's timeline and in the call summary in your task list. The due date and time that you'd like to schedule the call, and when turned on, the Sync with Google toggle will add this call to your Google Calendar at the specified date and time. If you'd like to schedule this call more than once, you'll want to toggle the Repeat Calls option. Turning Repeat Calls on will provide a drop-down menu to select the number of calls that you want to schedule. Then, you'll need to specify when you want your calls to be scheduled. The calls will be as evenly spaced as possible. Not only can you create your call tasks within the desktop version, but you can also schedule your follow-up calls within the mobile app, making your day-to-day business workflow even easier. Because the app
Can't
is
you
designed mainly
pre-record
for
and then it
follow-up calls,
automatically
you'll see the ability to schedule a
calls?
new call
The
once you
voicemail
finish
drop?
the initial conversation.
Yeah.
Does that
there's an
cost
option for that.
extra?
In another
think so.
lesson, we'll dive deeper into completing your calls. But for now, let's say that you finished making a call, and in this situation, the lead couldn't talk at that moment, but wanted a call back.
That's cool.
After ending the call, the app will prompt you to log the
I want
results.
to know how to do that.
Clicking the Contacted or Not Home buttons will bring up a list of options. Click Schedule a Call to enter optional notes and a selected date and time. To quickly create a task to call this contact tomorrow, choose this option instead, and it will automatically schedule it for you. Then you're all set. That call will now be included in that day's daily call list. To learn more about making calls in your mobile app, visit our lesson on completing your daily calls. You can also check out more information and recommendations on daily call and task management in the resources below this video. Thanks so much, everyone, and we can't wait to see you in the upcoming lessons.
Okay, so this is one if maybe you've had them in there for a while and maybe not, and you want to physically say, okay, tomorrow I'm going to call this person, or just trying to remind yourself. And they say you can link it with your Google Calendar. For me, that's a step too far. Like, you can definitely do that, but for me, it's like you should have the habit of sometime each morning logging into Bold Trail and seeing what your tasks are. And you can put any task in there. You can add anything to your calendar. You could add that you're going to go set out open house signs, you
I
know?
almost get a message from them almost daily telling me what my tasks are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So putting those things in there, and you get that message. Here's your tasks. You log in. You see them all. You can click them off as you get them done.
That's the part. That's the part where we don't do. We just get the email or the text. We don't.
Right.
We don't do that.
I'm just telling you, as an entrepreneur and somebody
Yes.
where you work for yourself, making a task list and being able to check things off is very motivating. It's psychological warfare on yourself, right? Because you're saying, I got to get these things done. And when you start knocking them off and start checking the boxes off, it feels great. You know what I mean? And so it is more motivating to continue to do that. The next video is like where
Before
to
we
find
start
them.
discussing completing and logging a call, we need to first talk about where you can find your calls. After you become more familiar with and utilize your platform, you'll receive daily emails summarizing your calls and task items. Your dashboard and mobile app also display daily calls to make. Within the desktop version of the platform, there are 3 different places where calls can be found. 1, on your dashboard under the Calls tab. 2, from the toolbar located at the top of the page. And 3, within a contact's profile. The dashboard is probably where you'll spend most of your time since this area shows new leads, the latest engagements, and the calls and tasks to do for the day. When navigating to the Call tab, you'll see 3 options to manage your calls: Past Due, Due Today, and Upcoming Calls. A snooze and call button will be next to the contact's name, if any displayed here. Selecting snooze opens a drop-down to select how long you'd like this call snoozed for. Clicking call opens the dialer, allowing you to complete the call immediately, or mark it complete if it was completed earlier.
So it's usually
You'll want to keep in mind that any automatic calls created, like from the Smart Campaign for example, will be automatically deleted 7 days past the due date. However, if it's manually scheduled, it will remain in your call list until you mark them complete or delete them. Clicking the checkbox located in the toolbar pulls down a list of all incomplete tasks and calls. If a contact is associated with a call task, you'll see a snooze and a call button similar to the buttons on your dashboard. Last, if you need to review the contact's information and notes before completing a call with them, navigate to their contact profile, where you can view, snooze, and complete any assigned calls when accessing the Tasks tab at the top. We wanted to mention another way to view and make calls from within the mobile app. The dialer allows you to complete calls designed to stay within federal compliance. There are 4 features available on this page. In the top right corner are your settings. Your custom lists, where you'll find lists of people based on chosen criteria and saved. The standard lists are call lists built in the mobile app by default. And the dialing summary is a report on the calls that you've made from sessions in the last 25 days. When you get to a list of contacts, click on the individual to call or select Dial Now to use the automatic countdown timer to dial each list member, starting with the contact at the top. Please note that when you first use the dialer, you may see a pop-up that asks for permission from the app to make and manage phone calls. You'll want to ensure to allow this access so the dialer can function correctly. In our future lesson, we'll go into more detail about completing these calls and what happens when the call is ended. Completing your to-do list is the best way to start your business day successfully. We recommend sending the daily calls and tasks email to you at 10 a.m. your local time. Learn about our mobile apps and more by navigating to the icon at the bottom right of any page and then searching for your topic. Don't forget about our support team if you have any technical questions as well. Thanks so much, and we'll see you in the next lesson.
Okay, so the next one is the one she was alluding to, is how do you
Hi again, everyone.
all the
In this
different
course
ways
so
to make
far,
these calls.
we've discussed the list of contacts sent to you that you need to call for various reasons, including manually created calls scheduled for that day. This list will also appear on your dashboard and in the dialer of your mobile app. We also learned that automatically scheduled calls usually come from a list of specific behaviors that the platform matches your contacts to, or Smart Campaign call actions. Now, let's explore how to complete a call so it's logged properly and isn't marked past due. This is vital to staying on track and in touch with the right leads. When you're ready to make a call, click the phone icon or call button anywhere that you can view those tasks. The dialer will appear and display the person's contact information with options to complete the call at that moment or log the call if you called the contact earlier. If the contact has more than one number, you can select the best number to reach them from this drop-down and click Call Now to receive an immediate call from your smart number. A computerized voice will prompt you to connect you to your contact. This means that your contact will see your smart number as your caller ID. Once connected, the system will record your call if call recording is enabled for your smart number and save it in that contact's record. This makes for easy on-the-go access to review the conversation, making sure all the follow-up items have been delivered as promised. Please note that if you're unsure of whether you have call recording enabled, you'll want to reach out to your admin to verify this. If this was an outbound call, you can log the outcome once it's completed. Select if you talked to the contact, left a voicemail, called but left no message, or if this was a bad
That's what I
number.
log in with on.
Next, you'll want to include notes that you can reference later when
So I've
reaching out
never
again.
been able to.
From the follow-up action drop-down, select whether this contact doesn't need additional follow-up actions assigned after this phone call. If
Yeah, I've never been able to because it
Before
doesn't.
clicking Save Call Outcome, you may have noticed the Smart Assistant call script button in the bottom left of this pop-up. Smart Assistant, powered by AI, represents a revolutionary addition to users' everyday work processes. By leveraging the power of artificial intelligence, you'll streamline your process of creating compelling call scripts, enabling you to maximize outreach efforts and increase your chances of converting this lead into a valuable client. Simply click on one of the call script options, and the system will craft a call script right before you. Not happy with that outcome? Click Regenerate Response to whip up a new one. Or type a new response in the text box before clicking that Regenerate button.
And it is.
Make sure to
And it
record
is,
this
but-
or save it somewhere that you'll be able to find it again before closing out this window. When you finish making the call and filling out notes, click Save Call Outcomes. The same fields are available for inbound calls, except for selecting an option from the Outcome dropdown. You'll want to ensure you're constantly logging any outbound or inbound calls within your platform. Completing calls can also be done within the mobile app, freeing you from your desk and empowering you with more flexibility in your business. While in the app, navigate to the dialer at the bottom navigation. Your custom list will be at the top of the page. These are lists of people created based on chosen criteria and can be dialed at any time. You save your criteria as a filter, similar to the contacts lists in your CRM. Your standard lists are call lists of people built into the platform. If you have any past due calls, calls to make today, or quickly want to dial your active leads, these list shortcuts will make calling those contacts much easier. Below your standard lists is your dialing summary. This is a report on the calls that you've made, and you can review your dialing sessions from the last 25 days. When you get to the desired list of contacts, click on an individual to call, or select Dial Now at the bottom to use the automatic countdown timer that dials each list member automatically. Please note that when you first use the dialer, you may see a pop-up asking for permission to make and manage phone calls. You'll want to be sure to allow this access so the dialer can function correctly. Initiating a call using this function will bring up the first person in the list, and a countdown timer in seconds will begin. Adjusting this countdown link can be done at any time from the list's main screen by tapping on the settings icon in the top right corner. This settings page will also allow you to select or create notes and tasks that you want to be selectable on the post-call screen, and select a default text and email that'll be sent to anyone that you log as not home. The call controls available are to skip, which will dial the next available person in the list, pause, which will pause the countdown timer, or dial now, which will bypass the countdown timer and dial the number immediately. When the countdown reaches 0, your phone interface will display, and you can make the call. When you've finished, you'll see the call results screen. When contacted or not home is selected, you'll have these available options to choose from. When bad number is selected, the available options will look similar to this. You can then tap each action that you'd like to perform or complete. So for example, when tapping to add a custom task, tap on the checkbox here and then create the task or action as you'd like. When you click Finish Call, you'll get a confirmation and can either move on to the following contact in the list or navigate to the details page of the person that you just added items to. To learn more about the mobile dialer, visit the knowledge base articles below. You can also reach out to our support team at any time by using the icon in the bottom right of any page. Thanks again, everyone.
I don't think anybody's using the auto dialer, but so there you go.
I'd like to do the auto voicemail thing.
We can do that like on the next one. We can do the voicemail drop. It's kind of the same, but
Well, I just finally got in. I just reset the password and changed it.
cool.
But this will make it easier because
Yeah.
The cool thing
Because
about
if
that
you do
it
too
from here,
is
yeah.
that you can see listings and you can send them to people. Like if
Yeah.
you just start talking to somebody and you know
Yeah.
off the top of your head, hey, I need to send them my listing or your
Yeah.
listing or whatever, you can just simply send it from your app,
yeah.
which makes it nice. Because I have utilized it like that. That's why I put the app on here. Cause like it'll be like, so that's my listing. I opened it because somebody wanted me to send it to them, so I opened it, and then you can share it. You can send it to whoever you want to.
So
Okay.
this
Just
next
like
section, we're not
Realtor.com or whatever.
we're not
It
gonna
gets
do this
in there.
next section because it's
Send it
basically
from
the same
your
thing.
website,
It's
so
just
if
creating
people-
tasks instead of calls, which is exactly the same. So
Uh-huh.
that's pretty much all that there is for that. So I mean, hopefully you can see that it's very useful. You can track who you're contacting, how long it's been since you contacted them, and then in that updates, if you update your profile, it'll actually prompt you when somebody's gone 30 days without getting any notifications from you or anything. So that's good. I would, like I said in the business class, you know, it's like you want to be doing this probably 30 minutes a day, say 3 to 4 days a week. You should be, and 30 minutes is probably going to be, they say the default is 10 contacts. You might be able to get 10 contacts in because you figure maybe 4 of them ain't even going to pick up, you know, but if it's your sphere you're calling and they know you, most of them should pick up if they can. And you could probably easily do 6 to 8 in 30 minutes. So you may want to start a little bit lower than 10. That's just what they have in there. And like I said, do it a few days a week. Just follow up with people. If it is your sphere, obviously every call is going to go different, right? If it is your sphere, you're just calling to check in, see how they're doing, how's life, what's going on, and then make sure you talk about your life and the fact that you're doing real estate and what have you. You know, feel free to complain that it's slow and that they need to give you business. So
Yeah.
so you know, whatever you need to do there. But obviously, if you're following up on an open house, the call is going to go a little bit different. It's a little more pointed, a little bit more direct. So, you know, those things you could probably just Google scripts that are great for that sort of thing. So, that's it. Questions from anyone? Cool.
No, but I'm gonna start being better at doing that stuff. So how did you send that? You just went to my
Okay,
listings?
so are you on your listings?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so open listing.